right now.
Okay, I see him waiting to join. Jeff, I used to work in the basement. I called it the dungeon.
Luckily,
Then I moved
I dare you to jump in the
office
pool.
upstairs.
There.
Okay, we're going to get ready here. Good evening, everyone. Believe it or not, it's June already. I find that hard to believe. June 11th. Hopefully, you've been healthy. That's most important, and that everyone is feeling good and everything's okay. We have an agenda tonight. It's not extreme. That's why we started at 7. The first thing tonight is Jessica has the ordinance number 31, which is moving the payroll administrator to HR. We gave it a first reading. I haven't received any comments from anyone. I don't know if any of you did. If not, Mark, is there any problem if we go second and third tonight?
Nope, we should go ahead and do that if council's willing.
Okay, and adopt. Jessica, you hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
I wish there's a way you could just hide me, but. Okay, next up on the list is a new one. This is to establish the local coronavirus relief fund. I'll take that one. Mark or the mayor, do you want to talk about this, please?
Or John, do you want to talk about it?
This is more, I think Mr. Vera should address this one.
Okay. This has to do with Senate Bill 310 that was passed and is requiring that we create this relief fund to receive those dollars and track the expenses from those dollars.
And
that's it.
What's your recommendation?
One, two, three. So they have not given us the dollars yet, but I'd like to have it available when they do.
And if we didn't do this, it would mean we couldn't take the dollars, correct?
Correct.
If we didn't have this set up.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, somehow I'm not on again. I can hear audio, but I'm not seeing anybody's picture. What did I do, Kyle?
You can only have 9 on the screen, so that might be why.
No, I got a different. I got his post again.
Do you have your camera on?
I don't think so. I tried to.
I have a bad habit of covering my camera.
Hey, Vinny, press the home button, the one in the center and the bottom, and then find the Teams application and click on that.
Click on which one now?
Teams, Teams. It'll be a purple logo.
Yeah, I got it, but it doesn't. Should I open the email then?
No, you just want to open the application because you're in the meeting already.
Okay, what icon do I open the app with?
The one that says Teams.
I did that part. Now I'm still getting a white screen that says email from Kyle.
Did you hit the home button? The one in the center at the bottom?
Okay, I'm back. I found something. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, so if no questions on 32, I'll take that one. We'll do first, second, and third and adopt it.
Okay, Mrs. Tully?
Yes.
Who are you having seconding these?
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot to do that again. All right, so why don't we do Jan and Jessica will do the 2 J's. We'll do the Vinny and the Jeffrey. Will they do the Dave and Vinny, the Jessica and Dave? So if I do the first, Jessica's the second, Vinny does the first, Jeff's the second, Dave's the first, Vinny's the second, Jessica's the first, Dave's the second, and if Jeff's the first, I'll be the second. Everybody get that?
I think so.
So
No,
if I do
I'm
it,
sorry. Can you
if I
redo
do
that?
it,
I'm sorry.
Jessica, yeah. If I do it, Jessica will second. If Vinny offers, Jeff will second. Dave offers, Vinny will second. Jessica offers, Dave will second. Jeff offers, Jan will second. Okay, good point. Thanks, Vinny. All right, next up is ordinance number 3. This is for the bridge inspection. Dave, I'll have you take that one, Mayor or Mr. G.
Yeah, I can speak to that, Ms. Tully. Before I get started, can everybody hear my volume okay? Okay,
Yes,
good,
sir.
thanks. Good, I had some sort of a speaker issue, so I went for the headphones, but I can hear you and see you, so we're good. Yes,
Just check.
This piece of legislation, ODOT has a program that is free of charge for local municipalities to do bridge inspections. They will inspect all city-owned bridges once a year, annual basis, and provide us with that information. I think that's a very nice and important public safety item. And again, it's free of charge to the city, so I would recommend that we join this program with ODOT and suspend the rules, have a third reading tonight, and we can let ODOT know that we want to be a part of the program.
Questions? Hearing none, Dave, you'll.
Is this a program we've done every year, or is this the first time we'll be doing it? Or?
No, this is the first time we'll be doing it, and it will last for 3 years. And then theoretically, at the end of 3 years, they'll ask us to join the program again.
And I see that they inspect culverts and everything like that. So they'll do like Blue Jay Trail, they'll do Sioux culverts, they'll do over all the anything that goes over water or another road they're going to do.
Well, they will inspect. This is for city-owned bridges. I'm glad you asked, Jessica. Only for city-owned bridges, of which there are 5. A bridge is defined by ODOT as anything greater than 10 feet wide. We have 5 bridges that we own. It's where Indian Creek crosses Navajo, where Indian Creek crosses Sioux Lane, where it crosses Berkshire, like you say, Jessica, where it crosses Blue Jay Trail. And then the 5th one is actually on Whispering Woods. All of the other bridges, that being wider than 10 feet, are owned by other entities, whether it's the county, ODOT themselves, or the railroad.
So who owns the bridge on Highland?
Highland is a county route, so that would be county.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, Dave, you'll do the 1, 2, 3, Vinny will second it, and then we'll move to adopt tonight. Next up is ordinance 34. Near and dear to my heart, so I will take this one. This is the right in, right out that, well, I'm trying to think of when that plaza went in, 20 years ago? When Target started? I don't remember. Mr. G, do you want to talk about it, or the mayor, where are we at with this?
Yeah, I can speak about it, Ms. Tully. Obviously, we've conducted the public bid. We've been identified Agresta Construction as having submitted the lowest and best bid. So naturally, we're recommending them to the council to be awarded the contract. I believe we would just ask for a first reading on this piece of legislation tonight, pending acceptance of the plat, which we believe will happen next week. Is that true, Mark?
Yep, that's correct. And then we're also going to have funding legislation, hopefully at an upcoming council meeting. Potentially may recommend a special council meeting once we have our bond council and the legislation they're currently working on.
So
That answered my question.
Yes.
No, I just said Mark just answered my question.
Okay, so the issue is we'll do a first reading tonight. This tells them we're awarding it. They have to get the plat approval. We also then will have another piece of legislation come. That's the funding part. If we do a special meeting, it 90% of the time, and I probably jinxed it, will be the only agenda item. So it'd be just come in, approve, and go. So we'll do first read, or we'll probably do that one and this one. Correct, Mark?
Yeah, just a first read tonight. Monday, as Joe said, will probably be planning commission approval. Hopefully, we're both going to be participating in that meeting. We'll then record the plat so the city has the actual dedication. Council will accept the dedication as well. We'll probably have a piece for that too. So you may have a couple pieces at a special meeting.
Okay, so it would be this one that we have plus the approval of the plat plus the funding.
Correct.
And then can you tell everyone what's the timeline or anticipated timeline? Well, Mr. G, do you know?
Yeah, timeline for construction would still certainly be later this summer, assuming that all goes according to plan as Mark just described. But the good news is we've identified a contractor. So in my mind, that's a big step forward.
And do you have any anticipation of how long it'll take to create that?
How long the construction period would be? It's probably about 2 months worth of actual construction period.
I just think of all those people who drive 8 and get down by 3:03. And we'll just add another week for them. That's all. Although how they are handling that is absolutely wonderful with the 1 lanes. So it's really good. Any other questions? All right. Hearing none, we'll move along now to 35. So this engineer of ours has been pretty busy here. This one is also for the engineer. Jeff, if you'll take this one. Mr. G or Mayor, who'd like to speak to it?
Yeah, I can speak one more time. You're right, Miss Tully. I had 3 pieces of legislation here. I usually don't have 3 in a year, but I got 3 tonight. So this is for the paving of Highland Road. This is to prepare the bid documents and conduct the public bid. Paving Highland Road, the stretch between South Bedford Road and Empire Parkway. Or to use some landmarks we're all familiar with, the stretch between the high school and Fun and Stuff. And as many of you may recall, last fall, the city was awarded a grant for this project through OPWC. So the time has come now to pave Highland Road. And I would suggest that we suspend the rules, have 3 readings tonight so that we can proceed with the plans and the bid.
Questions?
I'd just like to add to that. I asked Mr. Gelati in our staff meeting why it's this time of year, why it wasn't lumped into the road program earlier. It's because of their fiscal year, which is very odd to me because, as I alluded to in our staff meeting, it seems somewhat odd that the funding comes through, when we're in the middle of the paving season. So that's why you're seeing this here now.
Thank
And
you.
just to be clear, we don't have to suspend any rules to do this, right, Mark? It's just typical 3 readings.
Mark, we've had it for 48 hours, right? So we're okay.
Well, you have to suspend the rules to get to the 3rd read. I think that's what's being referenced,
Just
right?
have to suspend the 3 reading rule. Yep.
Pardon me, Miss Tully. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. There you go.
It does.
Make it sound sinister.
Okay. Moving right along to number 36. This is for the NOPEC Energized Community Grants, which stands for Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council. Vinny, if you'll take that
Yes.
one. Mayor, if you will please explain.
So this is the last of the 3 years of payments that we got to put up the lights at Longwood Park on the baseball field. It's accepting those dollars here for the last time. So all the money that we said we were going to collect to put those lights up is why that's there.
Any questions? Okay, we'll do 1, 2, 3 on that. The next step is along the same lines. Ordinance 37 is for the opt-in for natural gas for NOPEC. Mayor, did you want to speak to that?
Mrs. Scully, who's taking this one? Do we know who's taking this one?
It's going to be Jessica.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that. So kind of what it says, it's the opt-in. I know there's some legalities, I'll let Mark explain, but it kind of explains that there in the title that it's allowing us to continue through as a NOPEC member for the opt-in for the gas program. I know there's some legalities that Mark could probably explain a heck of a lot better than I could.
Yeah, so we're following the revised code for both this piece of legislation and the following piece of legislation which are related. This particular piece establishes the opt-in program and really combines it with the opt-out program, which the city created in, I believe it was Ordinance 4, 2002. So quite a while ago that we actually created this program. Back then, the requirement was to send that matter to the ballot. The voters passed it. And now we're really modifying that program to include an opt-in option for our residents. This piece of legislation, like I said, authorizes that program. The next piece of legislation actually approves the standards and program parameters.
And if anyone's not aware, NOPEC came into business to be an aggregator for utilities, electric and gas aggregation, meaning that they go out and they negotiate the best prices for those communities and the residents who then choose to become a part of them. Previous mayor was a founding member of that. And so aggregation works well. Working in the industry, in the telecom industry, there are a lot of aggregators that you can actually go to and help get better pricing for your communications. So it was an idea that moved along. So for this one, to establish the opt-in, Mark, are you okay with 1, 2, 3?
So for both this one and the next one, I would recommend holding them at first read tonight. The reason being, there's a statutory requirement to hold 2 public hearings prior to adopting the program parameters and rules. So if you take a look at the next piece of legislation, not to jump ahead out of order here, but there are 2 blanks in the legislation for council to pick those 2 public hearing dates. I do not believe there's a rush in getting this done, so you could select the next regular meeting at the end of July for the first public hearing.
Does anyone have a problem with that? Our next, hopefully face-to-face, would be July 23rd, so that we could do the first public hearing on July 23rd and then follow up by the second public hearing at the first meeting in August. Is everyone okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think the public needs to be able to weigh in on this because it does establish rules. So yeah.
Right. And the thing is this way, because it's our normal council meeting. So this number 38, Jeff, if you'll take that one.
Sure.
You'll need to, oh, we should have Vinny do this one, sorry.
That's fine. You can change it.
We'll need to amend the whereas to put in the meeting dates of July 23rd and August 13th. And luckily that 13th a Thursday, not a Friday. So
do you want to allow Vinny to do number 38 then?
No.
I don't have,
It's a joke.
I don't have full.
Gotta amend it.
Oh, I got you.
That's all. He usually gets all the ones where,
Yes,
we
where
gotta
there's
keep
an
the
amendment.
40 out.
I missed the joke and went right over my head.
He's become an expert at it, so. All right, so 38 will be 36 is Vinny's, 37 is Jessica's, 38 is Jeff's. Everybody okay?
Yes.
Again, first reading only on 37 and 38. By title only. Don't need a second. We're cool. All right. Then we come on to 39, which is for the renewal. Vinny, if you'll take this one.
Got it.
And Mayor, do you have anything you want to say?
So you guys may recall that we've already passed this to go onto the ballot. There was some language that needed to be added, so that's why this is coming back again. Mark, is there anything you want to add to that?
In my humble professional opinion, this may not be necessary, but somebody at the county requested that instead of just saying the city, that we say the entire city, and that we also mention that the city's located in Summit County. So there you have it. There's no
So
reason
we could
not
do
to
a
go
1, 2, 3. It's basically clarifying language.
Exactly.
True. Okay. So Vinny, we can just do 1, 2, 3 on that. And all you have to do is offer and adapt. You don't have to, unless you want them to read section 1. Mark, should he have section? Okay. Just want to make sure we don't forget that Amanda will be here. We can have her read more if we want. Okay. Last one, but not least, is ordinance number 40. We want this for first reading, I believe, and this will be Dave's. Mayor, Dave.
So this is essentially Mr. Finley and Mr. Ventura have been working on this for quite some time, so I think it'd be appropriate to let them explain where this came about from.
Well,
Sure, so-
since, go ahead, Dave, you were on the planning commission and got more direct feedback on that. Go ahead, sir.
Sure, thank you. So when I was on the planning commission, we ran into people wanting sheds that were a little larger than what we currently allow, which is a 12 by 12. But we also allow you to have 2. So in essence, people were building basically if they wanted a 12 by 16, let's say, they would build 2 12 by 8s, put them together and knock out the center wall to get around it. And then they would still have a 12 by 16 and it'd be fine. The BZA has also had issues with this because people want variances to get a little bigger than a 12 by 12. So all this is doing is it's increasing the area to allow, 12 by 16s, 12 by 18, without really changing anything beyond that.
Let me ask a question. So we're saying we can have a shed, or no, they can have a garage at 600 feet.
Mm-hmm.
What's the shed considered?
It's the second paragraph if you're looking at the legislation.
That's what I thought,
both-
but I just want that clarified. Is that, so if I have a garage, I can go up to 600 square feet, but if I have a shed, it's 288 square feet?
Right, which is basically 2 12 by 12s. So instead of saying you can have 2 12 by 12s, we just said you can have up to that amount of square footage. So we really didn't change it drastically. We just changed it enough so that somebody can have 1 12 by 16 or 1 12 by 18 if they want. That's all that allows.
And the detached garage is considered an accessory building. So we didn't modify anything regarding the detached garage. We just consolidated that into section 2 for clarity. So section 2 now deals exclusively with the detached garage, and section 3 exclusively deals with other accessory buildings.
So I can have 2, as long as they don't go above 288.
Right, which is what you can do now.
Okay. I can't have a garage for 10 cars.
Correct.
I have somebody downstairs who would like one. Okay. He thinks then I'll buy him more cars. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Mark, first reading.
That's up to you all.
So,
Well,
Jan,
what's your
to
recommendation?
that point, I have a question to that point. Mr. Finley and Mr. Ventura, I don't know if you were contacted by the resident that was recently denied or not.
Yes.
Correct.
Given our our summer schedule, if we take this all the way out till 3 readings, they're not going to be able to apply until August, right?
Correct.
So do we want to take that into consideration at all?
That's why the question is to Mark, is there legally anything that says we forbid to go 1, 2, 3 tonight?
You could do it if you wanted to.
So if there anyone who has an issue with us doing 1, 2, 3?
Not I, we need to make it easier for the residents.
I agree.
Okay, hearing none, Dave, if you'll offer this for 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
And we'll adopt.
Thank you, Dave and Vinny, for heading this up. I think this will make a lot of people happy. I know that, when my dad had to get a shed, we had to go on through the variance process, and it'll be good for the BCA and for the residents. So thanks, guys.
No problem.
Just to give you a quick example of the needed change, Mrs. Tully, I am sitting in my kitchen right now looking out my patio window, and I have a neighbor on the back street that has one 12 by 12 and another one that looks like it's an 8 by 8, and there's about 5 feet in between them. And it just makes things much harder for the residents. We have to try to make life easier for the residents to get what they need to get done without allowing them to go overboard.
Yep, and I think that's why the committee had been working on it and trying to see if they could do. We faced this before. I had someone prior to all of you, hate to say it, who couldn't build because of pine trees and all this other stuff and get a variance. And, people need to be able to store their utensils and implements more so than the hot rod that's in my garage. So thank you both. And thank you for, taking care of the resident that I believe he wrote to all of us. So we're glad he'll have some answers. Mayor, is there any other legislation? I know I will be making the motion to accept the hand sanitizer that was donated to the city. Mark wrote me the verbiage, so I say it correctly. Is there anything else?
There are no other pieces of legislation coming from me, no.
Anybody else have anything?
I have a quick topic for us, and I know we're coming up on 7:30, so I'll make it quick. I've mentioned to Amanda a couple times in email that I think it would be really beneficial to the public if we took the supporting documentation for our agenda and included it when she publishes the agenda on Tuesday nights on the website. And I told her I didn't want to just tell her to start doing that without bringing it up here among the rest of council.
I thought it had been previously.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I started putting them up.
I didn't know that. I thought it was something Amanda had to do. Okay.
No, if she includes it all to me, then I put up the agenda plus packet on the link for the link on the website, and so the first page or the first and second pages are the agenda, and then they do get the supporting documentation as well.
I did not know that. I apologize for not looking.
I think at this time and age, so it's a very valid question, because usually they come in to council and they pick up the agenda that's sitting there on the table waiting for residents. So it's a good point, but thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle. I didn't know you were doing that.
No problem.
He's our electronic guru. Anybody have anything else? If not, you got 1 minute.
That's just an independence habit that Kyle can't get away from.
We won't talk about independence. I went to their prom. That tells you, yeah. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that sometime.
Okay. Yeah, don't tell me who you went with.
Okay. Okay, well, we have probably 30 seconds, so I don't know if you want to disappear. You might just want to wait because the mayor will call this meeting to order shortly. And Kyle, you have a cat and a dog?
I have 3 dogs and a cat.
I saw, is that a black cat or was that a dog?
No, that's the pug. Yeah, I have a pug, a chihuahua, a pit bull boxer, and a Maine Coon.
I'll take the pit bull anytime.
Oh yeah, he's
My
fun.
favorite, that was the dog we had. Awesome.
Yeah, he likes to run.
Had one too, Jan. Pitbull boxer mix. Best dog we ever had.
That
Hey,
is
Mark.
the neck, you know?
Very
Okay.
strong.
Hey, Mark, are you able to type in the chat for me the sentence for the amendment to the whereas clause?
Can I email it to you?
That's fine. Whatever works for you. It's not in my cheat sheet.
You're talking about for the dates?
Yeah, where I have to add the dates to the whereas clause.
Sure.
Thank you.
Just a reminder as we go through the meeting, if it's not your point, if you can mute it, just in case. I had to shut my window. The kids down the street are screaming, so you'd think I was killing somebody, but they're having a blast out there. Mayor, it's all yours.
All right. Well, welcome to our third episode of our virtual June 11th council meeting. It is 7:31 p.m. Ms. Traska, will you please call the roll?
Miss Brandt,
Here.
Mr. Finley,
Here.
Mr. Garvis,
Here.
Miss Tully,
Here.
Mr. Ventura,
Here.
Thank you. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next is the approval of the minutes from June 11th, 2020.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted by the clerk of council.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, next up is public comments. Ms. Traska, do we have any public comments for this evening?
No, I did not receive any.
Thank you. So we'll move right into our ordinances and legislation. First up is ordinance number 31, 2020.
I move to offer number ordinance 31, 2020 for its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
All right. An ordinance transferring the position of payroll administrator from the finance department to human resources.
So essentially, this ordinance is we are moving an individual that was working in the finance department over to the human resources department. With our technology upgrades, a lot of the technology took care of a lot of the needs that were there. We had a great need in the human resources department. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Mrs. Smith, I know is on here, if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
Not unless anyone has any questions. You guys saw the job description and the duties that will be performed by this person along with her payroll duties. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, what pleasure?
I move to post ordinance number 31, 2020, the same as according to law.
Roll
Second.
call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call?
Miss Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Finley,
Yes.
Mr. Garvis,
Yes.
Miss Tully,
Yes.
Mr. Ventura.
Yes.
Ordinance 31 passes. Ordinance number 32.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 32, 2020 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
An emergency ordinance establishing and regulating the local coronavirus relief fund, and that's fund number 264.
Director Veras, can you give an explanation on this, please?
Thank you, Mayor. This comes out of Senate Bill 310, which Senator Dolan sponsored. And in order to receive the funds that are headed our way, about $227,000 worth, the Senate bill requires each community to create the local coronavirus relief fund to not only track the receipt of the money, but also the expenditures to make sure they're, fall in line with what we can use the money for.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion on that? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 32, 2020, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Finley,
No.
Mr. Garvis,
Yes.
Ms. Tully,
Yes.
Mr. Ventura.
Yes.
Ordinance 32 passes. Ordinance number 33.
I move to offer ordinance 33, 2020 for its first, second, and third readings by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a consent agreement with the director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for bridge inspection program services.
Mr. Gelati, an explanation, please?
You're muted, Joe.
Thank you. Sorry about that. As discussed in the work session, ODOT has a program for local municipalities. The program is free of charge. The program allows for ODOT to provide an annual inspection of all city-owned bridges once a year. There are 5 city-owned bridges that they'll be inspecting for us on an annual basis. I think this is a very good program for the city, as it's a public safety item, of course, to have these bridges inspected once a year.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 33, 2020 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Finley,
Yes.
Mr. Garvis,
Yes.
Ms. Tully,
Yes.
Mr. Ventura.
Yes.
Ordinance 33 passes. Ordinance number 34.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer number 34, 2020 for its first reading by title only.
Mr. Gelati, you're on the hot seat again, sir.
Okay, here we go. Yes, again, as discussed earlier, the public bid process is complete. We've identified Agresta Construction as having submitted the lowest and best bid. So we are recommending Agresta Construction for the contract to construct the right-in, right-out access drive, only on for first read tonight, pending the acceptance of the right-of-way dedication plat this upcoming Monday night.
Amanda, did you read this yet?
No, I'm going to read it right now.
Okay.
I jumped ahead. I apologize.
It's all right. I figured I'd wait.
Well, I think people knew what that Mr. G was talking about.
Well, they'll know now. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract with CA I'm going to butcher this, but Agresta?
Agresta, correct.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Construction for the right-in, right-out access drive into and out of the Crossings Golden Link Shopping Center.
Thank you.
Can we, before we move along, can we have either Mr. G or Mark explain the next steps? Because I don't want people to get excited thinking this is going to happen right away. Because the traffic over there has just been unbelievable. They've
Right,
been backed up all the way from the restaurant. Good news for Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A has been backed up all the way to the entrance of the shopping center.
Right, so we have a couple items remaining. One is Planning Commission approval of the dedication plat, recording the dedication plat, passage of the funding ordinance, council acceptance of the dedication, and then the remainder of the special assessment process after all that has been completed, which sounds like a lot, but we're planning on getting that done very quickly here.
Thank you. I just wanted people to know not happening. If they just went through the addition of the extra lane, so there may be concern of now what does that do for over there? Actually, and the bottom line is it's going to make it nicer. And I always think safer because we'll have another way to get out of that area if, God forbid, we ever need to. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mrs. Tully. Resolution 35.
I have a question about 35. Mark, should I amend it first or offer it first?
Offer it first.
That's what I thought. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to offer ordinance 35, 2020 for all three readings by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
A resolution authorizing the city engineer to prepare plans, bids, and specifications, and further authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids to enter into contracts for the Highland Road paving project.
I can move to amend.
Yeah, I didn't know if the mayor wanted to talk about it first, but
Yeah, I was going to add some details of that. Mr. Gelati, you would like to add some details this one more time?
Yeah, I can do that, absolutely. This is for the repaving of Highland Road between South Bedford Road and Empire Parkway, or as mentioned before, to use the common landmarks, Highland Road from the high school to Fun and Stuff. And as we may recall, the city received a grant for this project from OPWC last fall.
Thank you, sir. All right, Jeff, it's all yours.
all right. I would like to make a motion to amend the fourth whereas clause to include and set public hearings immediately prior to the regular council meetings of July 23rd and August 13th of 2020.
That's not for this, Jeff. That's for 38.
Oh, you guys, I messed up.
That's okay. So you can go with the big guy.
I vote no on that amendment.
Yeah, it's a motion, but I am glad you voted no on it.
I vote no on that.
All right. Okay, I rescind that. We can move on.
But you do
Jeff,
want. You don't want
don't
to
scare me like that, Jeff.
The amendment anyhow. Okay.
You know what? I was so worried that I was going to not do as well as Vinny does. So, okay. Should I offer it for adopting now?
Please
Yes,
do.
please.
Okay. I would move to adopt ordinance number 35, 2020 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, Jan did.
I heard it. Yes.
I'm sorry. My internet's hiccuping. Roll call, please.
Ms. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Finley,
Yes.
Mr. Garvis,
Yes.
Ms. Tully,
Yes.
Mr. Ventura.
Okay, resolution 35 passes without any amendments.
Mr. Ventura vote.
Mr. Ventura was muted.
Mr.
Yeah,
Ventura, did
That's
you
what
vote?
I was wondering.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, we're good. Okay, ordinance 36.
Okay, Mayor, I would like to offer 36, 2020 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
I think I'm missing. Was there a second?
Yeah, I
Okay,
muted
thank you.
and then I seconded it. I'm sorry.
I feel like I don't know if I'm hearing it or not, so I apologize.
No, it was me.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Mr. Goodetti, can you give a brief explanation, please? Mark, are you with us?
I'm sorry, Mayor. I couldn't catch you there.
Can you give a brief explanation of ordinance 36, please?
Well, this is the Energized Community Grants. This is just an acceptance of the grant.
Thank you. Do you want to parlay that with 37, or do you want to wait till we get there?
Yeah, we could probably wait if that's okay with you.
Yep, that's fine. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none, what's your pleasure?
Mayor, what do we
Mayor,
what do we use the
Would you
grants?
like me to read it?
I'm sorry.
This is.
I'm sorry. I apologize. This is for the lights at Longwood Park. I got jumbled up here. I
And then
apologize.
Amanda is going to read it for us.
Yeah.
I keep doing that. I'm having a day here. I'm trying. I really am.
All right. An emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept NOPEC Energized Community Grant.
And again, this is for third and final payment for the dollars that were given to us for the lights that are on our baseball field at Longwood Park. What is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move that we adopt and post the same according to law.
And I second
Roll
that.
call, please.
Ms. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Finley,
Yes.
Mr. Garbus,
Yes.
Ms. Tully,
Abstain.
and Mr. Ventura.
Yes.
Ordinance 36 passes. Ordinance 37.
Mayor, I offer ordinance number 37, 2020 for its first reading by title only.
Second.
First reading, Jane.
I'm sorry. That's Dave. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
All right. I'm just going to go ahead and read it right now, if anyone.
There you go.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
You see, I paused there, right? I was good this time. I waited.
An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to establish an opt-in natural gas program pursuant to section 4929.27A1 of the Ohio Revised Code jointly through NOPEC as a NOPEC member.
Thank you. Okay, Mark, now I would ask you to give the brief explanation of ordinance number 37, not 36.
Sure. Yeah, so as we discussed during work session, this ordinance simply modifies an existing program the city has had in place since 2002. The second ordinance coming up here, 38, 2020, actually creates the program rules and will hold some public hearings prior to adopting that in case residents have any input.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ordinance number 38.
Okay, ordinance number 38. I would like to move to offer ordinance 38, 2020 for all three readings, by first reading, for the first reading by title only.
An ordinance approving the plan of operation and governance for the NOPEC natural gas aggregation program for the purpose of jointly establishing and implementing a gas aggregation program as a NOPEC member.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Garvis, would you like to make an amendment? Or I'm sorry, would you like to make a motion for a public hearing, sir?
I would, but I believe it's an amendment to the whereas, isn't it?
I included both of those items in the motion language for you, Jeff.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. I need that, obviously. So I would like to make a motion to amend the fourth whereas clause to include and set public hearings immediately prior to the regular council meetings of July 23rd and August 13th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, resolution number 39.
Mayor, I would like to present resolution number 39, 2020 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We're good.
An emergency resolution amending resolution number 21-2020 relative to the renewal of an existing 5.07 mill tax levy.
Director Goodetti?
So this is simply a very slight amendment to the resolution we already passed, just specifying that Macedonia is located in Summit County, and basically this legislation applies throughout the city.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 39, 2020 and post same according to law.
I will
Roll
second.
call, please.
Ms. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Finley?
No.
Mr. Garvis?
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
And Mr. Ventura?
Yes.
Resolution 39 passes. Ordinance number 40.
I move to offer ordinance number 40, 2020 for its first, second, and third readings by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
An ordinance amending section 1163.02 of the codified ordinance of the City of Macedonia relative to the residence districts.
I would ask Mr. Finley and or Mr. Ventura if you'd like to give an explanation on this.
Go ahead, Dave.
All right. Basically, what we've had a lot of problems on the Planning Commission and the BZA with folks that want a shed that's greater than 12 by 12. The current ordinance allows a 12 by 12 only, but you can have two of them. So 12 by 12 is 144 square feet. So technically with two, you can have 288 square feet. So all we're doing is amending that you can have two structures up to 288 square feet, which doesn't change how it reads currently, but it allows people to have a single shed that's greater than 12 by 12.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 40, 2020 and post the same according to law.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Finley?
Yes.
Mr. Garvis?
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Mr. Ventura?
Yes.
Ordinance number 40 passes. Are there any other motions or legislative actions?
Yes, Mayor.
No, I would just like to say to Amanda, don't let the mayor steal your thunder.
Okay, I'll try.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move to acknowledge and accept the donation to the City of Macedonia of 19 one-gallon jugs of hand sanitizer by Adrian Piazza of Urban Botanicals, valued at approximately $1,177.
Second, do I need to second that? I'll second it anyway.
Yes, you do. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Any other motions or legislative actions? Do we have any correspondence from the clerk?
Nope, I do not have any.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move right into the mayor's report. The monthly mayor's court revenue for March of 2020 was $23,436. For April, it was $7,577. And for May, it was $9,683.40. I'm going to make an announcement today that kind of broke loose on Community Focus interview earlier in the week, but we will be having fireworks on July 4th at Longwood Park. Why it's important to talk about this now and let the community know what we're going to be dealing with. I anticipate a lot of people coming to see these fireworks. There is a number of communities that have canceled theirs. We are fortunate enough to have that on the 4th of July. The reason we're still holding that is because we had to pay half up front. If we didn't have them, we would lose those dollars. So it was my decision to move forward just to have fireworks on the 4th of July, which I think is going to be a great thing for the community to come see. We're going to have police, fire, and service there on duty to try and keep things moving as best we can. I anticipate we may have to turn people away. I really feel that this is going to be a lot of people coming. So be prepared to have a lot of traffic in and out of there for that, but it's just for the fireworks. We have to still adhere to social distancing guidelines. We'll have signs up indicating that, and I would ask the community and people that are attending to adhere to that so that we're sticking to the rules that are in place for us. Next thing I want to touch on is donations to the city. During this whole virus, there's been a lot of people that have donated dollars for our police and fire, and I want to thank everyone that did that because it was an amazing thing, you know, to provide meals for our frontline people that are working so hard and exposed to these things every day, and they definitely appreciate that, and they enjoyed some nice meals as a result of that. As we just accepted a donation of the 19 one-gallon jugs of hand sanitizer from Adrian Piazza. Also, Chris Jenkins, the owner of Hot Heads in Northfield Center, donated masks, the proceeds from mask sales to the police department, a total of $300, and donated 30 masks for the officers and dispatchers. Walmart donated several cases of disinfectant wipes, sanitizing hand gel, as well as a case of Lysol disinfectant spray. A company in Ohio donated 4 cases of Blaster hand sanitizer. Many residents dropped off face masks and hand sanitizers as well, sandwiches, donuts, and cookies, which was definitely appreciated. Joe Martin from NEO Pressure Washing volunteered his company to clean our play sets at our parks, which is a great thing because the governor just opened those back up. He will be out, I believe, on Sunday to sanitize our playground, so we'll have a nice, clean playground for the kids to play on, and they haven't really been touched, so really it's going to be a good thing for them to be sanitized and cleaned off from all the debris from our lovely Ohio weather and that yellow mist that tends to cover everything. So it'll be nice to have that cleaned off so the kids don't have to play on that. Also, Beth, Nico, and Kelsey and Nick Piscatello from Stan's Bakery Cookies. They donated a bunch of cookies for the police department. We thank them for that. And finally, Specialty Lubricants donated a bunch of soaps. We were running very low in the city on hand soaps. They were very hard to get, as everyone could anticipate that was difficult to get those materials, and they came through for us in the time of need, and I want to thank them for that. Next thing I want to touch on is last week there was a rumor of a protest at Macedonia Commons. I want to be clear that if that was going to happen, protests are within our rights as Americans to do that. We don't discourage that. But given what happened over the weekend, there was a lot of anxiety surrounding around that because a lot of us saw what was going on in downtown Cleveland and other areas of the country. So there was a bit of paranoia surrounding that. A lot of the organized protests that we're seeing are working with the cities to try and work with them to have these protests and get their voices heard, and that's okay. But what happened with us at the Macedonia Commons was this was perpetuated on Facebook, and there was a lot of paranoia that surrounded that. It was all rumors. It wasn't true. The downside to that is businesses close as a result of that, which cost people money from their jobs. It costs businesses money from being open. Walmart and several other businesses closed. And I did see one post on Facebook. One individual had to go get their medicine for something that was very critical for them, and they couldn't get it as a result. And that kind of broke my heart to think, all from a rumor that was perpetuated on Facebook, an individual couldn't go and get their medicine from the pharmacy at Walmart. So I would ask that if you see something like that, call City Hall. If you think that there's something that is going to cause distress to people in the community, let us know about that. We'll let you know what we know about it, because like I said, a lot of places I talk with other mayors, a lot of the groups that are having these protests are working with the cities. They're letting them know where they're going to be. And the biggest thing for me is the safety aspect of it. If we're at Macedonia Commons and we have a bunch of protesters and people shopping, there's a lot of cars moving in and out of there and everywhere they're going. So you have the road, you have parking lots. My whole goal is to keep people safe. So if you want to do something like that, we will work with anyone. I don't know that Macedonia Commons is the best place for that, but we just want to keep people safe. And if it's a peaceful protest, we will definitely support that. The next thing is I want to thank our Director Collins of Information Technology. He this week got us a battery backup system. It normally costs $80,000. He got it for $3,000 brand new. I think that's great, given the circumstances, what we're all going through with things in society and the cost and everything we're trying to do with our technology upgrades. I give Director Collins a big pat on the back, because that's phenomenal. That's a huge, huge savings. And through his tenacity and his ability to find other ways to save us dollars in the city, I think that's amazing, and you deserve all the recognition for that. So thank you for that, sir. Finally, I always ask at the end, please don't drive distracted. Put the phones down and drive the car. Next up is committee reports.
The Parks and Rec Committee hasn't met for a while. We actually set a rule that we wouldn't be meeting in June of any year, because June is typically when we have the Spirit of Macedonia Festival. So our June meeting didn't happen. It wasn't scheduled. We actually do hope to meet in July, whether that be in the rec center or possibly outside. July 15th, the third Wednesday of the month, would be the date that we would meet. We still haven't planned that meeting, but we're hoping to meet the new rec director at that time. I don't know, Mayor, if you wanted to speak to that at all or not.
Yes, we are likely, I'm going to try and call a special meeting for next week. We're anticipating a new director coming in, and we need to confirm that. So once I know more information, I should know tomorrow, I will communicate out to council and the Parks and Rec Commission immediately, and then we'll have to move forward from there. But I will know more late tomorrow afternoon as to where we stand with that. So good stuff coming. Thank you, Ms. Brandt.
So as soon as we have that information, we'll confirm that meeting on July 15th, which would be our typical July meeting date. And I'll get the confirmation to the council clerk and the administrative assistant for the city and get that on the official calendar once it's confirmed. So that's all for Parks and Rec Committee. Also, I did want to thank, the committee did want to thank the staff of the rec center for getting the rec center back open. They've done a great job. The people that were making the decisions at the top there did a great job organizing, come up with all the ideas for how it can safely be run. I've been up there 6 times already since it's been open using the pool. The staff is there. The staff is still smiling and behind those masks and being friendly and talking to you. They have lots of ways to keep everyone safe, disinfecting your hands, disinfecting the machines, anything you use. So kudos to the staff at the rec center and everyone in Parks and Rec Department for getting that going.
Thank you.
With that being said, 2 things. One, the cemetery board presented a proposal that we had received for potentially going forward with the purchase of land after we would have some testing done on it, including boring. We have since backed off of that. The only thing that the communities had approved was proceeding with the boring. After discussion, we've recognized that may not be the best plot of land to continue expansion of the cemetery. However, we will continue to look for other property within the communities. It's 4 communities that come together. So we recognize the fact that we have to do something to assure that there is additional plots and availability for families. And so that'll be an ongoing. Second of all, since you mentioned council and now calling a special meeting for July 16th, I wanted to remind everyone we're on summer hiatus. The next council meeting was supposed to be July 23rd and August 13th at 7:30. Mark, can we get the legislation we need for the public that has to have a special meeting for July 16th? I really don't want to take everyone's summer plans and mess them up.
I'm going to find out tomorrow how quickly we can expedite that additional legislation, and I'll coordinate with the mayor to try to schedule those at the same time.
Okay, because it'd be preferable if we just have the one meeting. Otherwise, I can see we're going to be calling multiples, and that's probably not necessary. So if you can get the legislation that we know we need at the special meeting for the 16th, that means our next council meeting officially right now still is July 23rd and August 13th. So we'll be at that time. That's all I have for committee reports.
And thank you for pointing it out, Mrs. Tully. Director Guidetti and I were talking today about trying to get those on the same one, and that's kind of why I'm waiting to see if we could do it at the same time. So that was the intention. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, I'll move into department reports. First up is Director Nadavanj.
Thank you, Mayor. With the allowance of some outdoor sporting events to take place now, happy to say that our ball fields are in full usage at Longwood Park and at Sugar Bush. Longwood Park right now, 7 days a week, our ball fields are being used for game practices, and 5 days a week at Sugar Bush. Happy that we were able to get the fields ready for play in time with the wet spring that we were having. But having the fields redone, the company that we did has allowed us to do so by, after a rain, we get about an hour that we can actually retreat the field and have it ready for play. So it's made a significant difference. In years past, we've had to down a field for 3-4 days at a time with rains that we've been having. So it's good to have them out and going, and that's keeping us very busy at this time in our parks. On July 11th, Summit County Reworks will be hosting the shredding event. I'm sure people are looking forward to this for Summit County residents and businesses only. With the time that they've had at homes during this pandemic, there's been a lot of clearing of papers, but there are some new stipulations for COVID-19 where boxes will not be returned to you. They will keep them and recycle them on site. They are only to be placed in your trunk or your truck bed. There is zero contact that will take place with the driver and the workers that are over there. They will maintain a 6 feet distance at all times. You can put them in plastic bags as well, but no plastic bins. People will not accept anything in a plastic bin. They will accept staples on papers, but no paper clips, binding tabs of that nature. This will be posted on our website once we get more details from Reworks to have available for everyone. And the hours for that will be from 9 to noon at Longwood Park, held in the oval back by the pavilions. This allows a nice long driveway to keep traffic from backing up onto 80. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Gelati?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I've already spoken a lot more than I normally do at these meetings, so I'll be brief. With the passage of the legislation for the bridge program and also for the Highland Road paving, we'll proceed with both of those items right away. Thank you to the council for passing both of those pieces tonight. No further report.
Thank you. Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to report the refunds are starting to come in now that we're getting closer to the extended deadline for RETA of July 15th. Ours is, 3 months after that. But to date, we've refunded $80,275, and that encompasses 364 refunds so far. End of my report.
Thank you. Chief Ripley.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like to thank our community and all the employees in the fire department for how they've performed during this pandemic. Our community has heeded all the warnings from public health, and I think it shows. And I'm very proud to be a part of a community that's taking this so seriously. Also would like to thank those members of our community who donated for the meals. The guys, I know the firefighters and the police officers enjoyed them immensely. It was just one less thing they had to do, which was cook or figure out where they were going to eat that day. The other thing, very happily, I can announce at this point, Lieutenant Davis has successfully completed his cancer treatments, and at the end of the month, he will be returning to shift. So we're all very proud and very happy to have Chip back, full duty, and he is very much looking forward to things returning to normal. For those who don't know, Chip's been with the city for 35 years, so it's definitely been a different place without him for the last few months. That's the end of the report, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Holden?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to report Patrolman Heisler will be returning to work shortly. For those of you who may have forgotten, Patrolman Heisler was struck at an accident scene up by Longwood Park in the end of November. So he's in the final phases of his rehabilitation, and he should be back within the next several weeks. I also have a statement that I would like to read. The City of Macedonia stands together with all our fellow residents and citizens, especially during the current events where government should serve as a calming presence. As peace officers, we dedicate our lives and have taken oaths to protect and serve the community. We honor the value of all life, regardless of race, color, or creed. Conduct anywhere in the country that doesn't adhere to these oaths we have taken against the basic principles of what it means to be a human being in today's society, civilized society, and must not be tolerated in any police organization. This conduct never has and never will be tolerated at the City of Macedonia. The City of Macedonia Police Department has always upheld the principles established in our country's founding documents. We do not pretend to have all the answers to the issues the country has faced today, but we can promise that our organization believes in equal justice for all under the law and will continue working to be a positive presence in the community. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chief.
John. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Director Goodetti. Director
No.
Goodetti. Thank you. Mrs. Smith?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing for the group.
Thank you. Director Collins?
Thank you, Mayor. We've made some pretty big changes. We have a brand new core switch in place. It's a stack of 448 port switches. So for all the tech nerds out there, that's kind of fun. I also got the servers in. I have them racked and configured, and I have the VMware virtual environment installed on them. So now it's just a matter of moving all of our data from the old server to the new one, which will be a slow process, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'd just like to thank the administration and Finance Director Veris and Council as well for making sure that I've had the funding to go through and make these changes. I think we're definitely ahead of schedule, and I'm very happy with how far we've come, and I look forward to continuing the hard work. So thanks, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Kyle.
Do we have any unfinished business?
Can I just,
Mayor, is Mr. Nanavich still with us?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Nanavich, I believe when you were talking about the Shred Day, you mentioned the residents of Summit County. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this only for the residents of Macedonia?
No, so it's for all Summit County. What they do is they host different locations throughout the county during the year. Some were not able to pick them back up again, but it's always been for Summit County residents and businesses, open to all residents in the county.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome.
I have one thing. First of all, I'd like to thank the service department. This is unfinished business because of all the water and the rain and the flooding and the new lakes that were created in some people's homes. But as the mayor has previously stated on numerous times, I see this when I run. When you cut your grass, you need to pick up the things that are left behind. I'm finding clumps of grass on sidewalks, in streets. And when the heavy rain comes, where does it go, John?
Goes into the storm sewers, and it does harden up over time if not flushed out.
So please, please, please take the time, and I don't cut the grass, but we have a bag on the back of ours. Please make sure that you have picked up what you have. It also causes your sidewalks to get very slippery, but I'm more worried about all of it going downstream and clogging the sewers and the pipes. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any new business?
One reminder, Flag Day is this Sunday. So I want to thank all of those who have ever served that we have the flags out. I'd like to thank you, Chief, for your words. Those are very well spoken. I have one quick question before I forget. Two quick questions. Did you say the time for the fireworks on 4th of July?
I did not. We're still working that out. I mean, with the time, it's generally at dusk, so we're probably looking at between 9:30 and 10. But once we get closer, we'll have a better idea where nightfall comes and when we're going to do that. So it's probably going to be between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. But I'll put that out as soon as I get it.
Okay. Then my other question is for Mr. Veras. For those people who have received, I don't know what we call it, the incentive check from the federal government, can you address how implications are for federal, local, or state taxes? Because the check comes without any deductions. Has that been reported as income?
I don't believe that's been determined yet. I will look into it and get back to you.
Thank you. That's all I have.
I just want to say congratulations to the class of 2020. And thank you so much to the city, to the mayor, to the police department, to the sheriff's department, fire department that took part of that awesome parade. That parade was the best thing I've seen all year. The community was so excited, and everyone was social distancing when they were out there even. I know my mom and I went up, we stood by our car. The kids just looked like they're having a blast. The whole Nordonia community showed up. That was great. The fire truck the fire tower was there. That was awesome. Yeah, it seemed like it went really well. Mayor, you did a good job in your car with the light on the top, directing traffic, but that was great. And congratulations to all the seniors. I'm sorry that you had a rough end to your year, but hopefully that is a good springboard for you guys to have a great summer and get ready to move on with the next step in your life. So thanks again to the city and to the county for everyone doing a great job for that parade.
Yeah, I agree, Jessica. The parade was awesome.
Thank you. Any other new business? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, all.
Good night. Thank you.